What is up? Hey guys, this is part two. We are at hole number 10 here. This is the Golf Clash Tommy event here. That it's like a crossover event, Golf Clash and Ultimate Golf, kind of on the same page for one event. If you haven't caught the part one, it should be available on my stream. For those who are interested in the Play Store, there's the guide for Ultimate Golf. This is also available in the App Store for free. That's what I'm going to be showcasing in here. It's a nice place to organize your ring adjustments, but also organize content. So if I was to go into this app, once I have it on my device, I could go into guides. All this new content, it's going to come right into this recent guides. So right at the top here, you're going to see, here's some of those qualifiers. They're all coming right into the top. There's a lot of good information here, teaching beginners how to promote their account really fast. A lot of tips and tricks for you guys to have ultimate success for this. Feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. That is in the help section under the YouTube button. Easiest way to find my content and stay on board. And, I will continue to, provide you guys with the content, get you guys squared away and shooting lower scores very fast. That's one of the beauties of this app, is it creates kind of a way for us to be able to organize those ring values and also be able to, really dial in adjustments and further our game. And also play in a timely fashion. So just being able to kind of balk through these real quick is kind of my goal. Now what we're going to do, especially with this tailwind, we're just going to get this off the tee, kind of straight away here. And let's just take a look. I forget what the set. Yeah, that's right. Tailwind, tailwind. Yeah, I think they're keeping them pretty static here. So what you'll see is similar winds. There is the short iron club down there. Might be advantageous to us, since we're going down to that, to bring back our Spectra. If you guys didn't notice in the front nine, if you were on part one, we eliminated this to kind of make room. You can see that changes the line. What we're going to try to do, especially with like a tailwind scenario, since we have a very large tailwind, we're going to go 10-8. 8 rings, maybe just a touch of pushing the ball guide forward, I'm thinking. So let's say we adjust our rings. What you're going to see is I push forward. Why would I push forward? The biggest reason here is because I don't want it to land this short. So after I go the 8.5 rings, give or take, with overplay. Keep in mind, the reason that you need to overplay is because of a topspin adjustment versus backspin. We're using topspin. The bounces are going to roll out a little bit more left to right than they would otherwise, than if you were to utilize full backspin. So what we're going to do is just push up a couple rings here. Maybe 1.5. Might not have even needed it. But better to be safe than sorry. And if anything, like I mentioned, we could have maybe just aimed a little bit over to the left, trying to play some of that effect. Or, consider it overplay as well, because of the fact that we are on a, full topspin, extra rollout type adjustment. So here's what we're going to do here, guys. Is we are going to go on to the next hole. Hole 11 here. Another par 4. I'm just going to get off the tee. You can see a lot of slope to this fairway, it looks like, at least on the downslope. So what we're going to do is maybe just kind of counteract that with some curl. Try to get this rolling out a little bit straighter if we can. I believe this is one of the holes that I made a mistake on the amateur playthrough, if you guys were checking out that content. There's a nice hybrid of content here. This is for, really early players for both of these accounts. However, one's like, focused on more first week in the game. This is kind of a couple weeks in. And in terms of progression, you guys can get your accounts up here very fast just by utilizing free chests. Once you get Tour 7 unlocked, if you didn't catch my part 1, very easy to start progressing those clubs for this game. They have a very beautiful reward system in place. The developers here, they really, do go off of customer feedback and try to create a very great environment for the players. So if you guys have not checked out this game yet, definitely worth putting some time into. And there's about 8 rings there. Very close to my max adjustment. I'm not going to push. I feel like I went over this green. I'd like to avoid that mistake this time around. So maybe I'm going to just add a couple bars of backspin. I just remember this distinctively rolling out a little unnaturally. Yeah, and it's kind of maybe a good idea that I at least put on a touch, but that was still a little bit too extra. I should have kind of split the difference. I probably added about 3 rings there. Probably should have added maybe about 1. Here you can see the basic ball. We're able to roll in. Avoid the unforced error. Of course, I think we still have possibility here. It's just going to require some nice shot making skills. So let's at least try to stay fairly aggressive. You never know when you might get a drop. So we're going to do here Barchetta real close to max, 10.5. Of course, sorry about that, but I got kicked out. So 4.7 here. We utilize it with the line so you guys can see a little bit more clearly my ring pull. And in the event that this isn't quite the adjustment that we're looking for, you guys can try to just tweak, fine tune, and maybe you guys can find that drop. But let's give it our best go. Like I mentioned, who knows, maybe we get it. Just a little over adjust. Look how well that checks up. There's a variety of reasons why that checked up so well. So let's talk about the first. Driver from an elevated tee to a drop par. You're going to see that it checks up very fast. You might think driver rolls out. On a lot of these par 3 shots, the tee box is elevated farther than the green is. So what you'll see is it lands in a gully, kind of a lower ground, and you'll see that it checks up very nicely. So one of the common misconceptions about this game is the way that it's going to interact on kind of a downhill slope. It's going to be very close to what would happen in real life. For those of you who might have length in real life, they kind of understand the physics of that. If you've ever hit, a high launch ball into, a 300-yard par, assuming that you're able to reach that far and can hit it that far, it lands very soft. Assuming that the green isn't elevated or anything, but it'll basically just check up on an instant. Very similar in this game with how the physics play out. Of course, that's for all you big hitters out there. Average player, assuming, doesn't hit it that far, but that's kind of the way that the physics of this game are designed to do. So one of the things I want to talk about here is min versus max. Here you'll see we're kind of midway through the span here. A couple different ways we can play this. We can either use the directional, which, why don't we? But also keep in mind, if we wanted to just kind of, free ball this and just say, we'll just use max since we're going to pull up towards max, totally fine to do. What's it say? 795. Say we use the wind directional and we use down here because it's close down. You'll see it's going to kind of give us a very similar, as long as we're in the right spot, it's going to give us a very similar adjustment. Let's say, what is that? About 6 or 7 rings for max. So about 8 rings maybe. Keep it in mind, we're going to put this ball guide kind of up through the hole. It's going to collapse down because we're pulling towards max. So keep in mind, short iron. It's going to really collapse down. Well, in this case, we're even going to go over power. Maybe just kind of counter back with some curl. And I'm just going to give this everything it has. The alternative would have been to go into Bigfoot. Kind of two different ways to play that. Totally fine either way. If you do want to more precision adjust that, I would recommend that you guys come into your clubs here, eliminating the Spectra, putting Orion back on. If you find yourself in between club, it's going to free up a couple extra rings for you. Not as much with basic ball, but if you're using like a Power 7 ball, definitely going to free up at least 5 or 6 rings for you. So definitely a huge improvement to kind of get you in between those club gaps. It's kind of the best way. So here you can see hole 14, straight out. We're just going to get this straight out into play. Still utilizing our free balls. Best case scenario, as you can see on this ball spattle, they're just kind of giving away balls. It's a nice opportunity for you guys to collect some balls. Regardless of your playing ability, just finish that round. So you could go all basics. You can shoot a very, aggressive score and try to compete. Or you can just take the free balls and just, learn some physics about the game. The choice totally up to you. Definitely recommend in the early stages coming over here and developing an account over here. This ring span is a little bit shorter than 10, so we're going to stretch it down, put this down towards the min value, and we'll do about 5 rings here, maybe just a tad bit more. You'll see bounce 2 kind of right towards the front. Keep it in mind, this ball guide, it's going to stretch down just a little bit. So you'll see what I'm doing is I'm keeping that ball guide maybe just a little bit extended. Keep it in mind that it's just going to really collapse down. You can see it's still short, even with that little bit of overpower. So maybe even just a little bit more topspin there. But, I like to be a little bit cautious, keep it a little bit below the hole in the event, especially you can see with the basic ball. Don't want to, do too many unforced errors. Potentially put myself in tough spots with basics. If you do want to use, some more balls, totally fine. It's a good opportunity to get a little bit more aggressive. We still might go at this with some balls. Keep in mind what you're playing for, though. So with that in mind, we want to be a little conscientious of what we do. This is our 3rd Mojave. Keep in mind, we're only going to return 3 Mojaves. So with that being said, you have to keep that into the realm of what you're doing. Do you want to, if you enjoy this game, absolutely, it's worth promoting, buying some balls, working towards improving your game. If you want to start off free for now and just kind of utilize free balls and just kind of progress slowly, totally up to you. It's a great way to play and just kind of get an account established over here, get a nice foundation, and then go from there at a later time. So both, like I mentioned, totally fine. What we're going to do here, we did play this club a little bit earlier. As you can see, I get kicked out one more time. It happens because I'm, kind of in between both of these. I'm in the subscription version. I'm in the non-subscription version. So you'll see that happens a lot on mine. So 3 rings here. Full overpower. We're going to go for ultimate shot. Keep in mind with Mojave, we are going to have that 3% extra precision boost. Let's see if we can't roll this up. If you can get on the green, great. It allows you to putt. It usually gives you extra tiebreaker points. So when you can make it to greens, you're shooting for 1,800 tiebreaker points. When you're off the green, best we're hoping for is 999. So what I'll do is typically on something like this, keep in mind we're so close to the green that it's really not going to play here. So what we're going to do is just keep this ball guide kind of tight to the hole. The wind, we're not even going to factor because we're close enough. Anything below 25% club, which this is well below 25, you don't have to worry about playing. So there you can see we're able to get that eagle back. Here's an example of what I wanted to mention. Was that 8 miles per hour, quarter club, 0.2 rings, at best, maybe. But especially with a straight arrow, it's not going to deviate the line. So let's switch back. As you can see, we were able to get the eagle there. Hopefully get back up on towards the Golf Clash Tommy leaderboard here. Let's try to get fairly aggressive here. What I really like for shots like this when it's close to max Bigfoot is lightning rod. It's still a little bit early for this account. I don't have a lot of ball guide, but definitely worth investing in long term. So it's definitely a club you're going to see me shoot a lot in the future. So I highly recommend, if you guys don't have it, definitely investing in that lightning rod. Here, we're going to have to kind of stay away from it. We can go down to the +0. However, keep in mind we're going to have to do an overplay. So even if it says 658 at max club, which is very close to where we're at, that anticipates full backspin only. So when we utilize topspin, it's going to change our value. So I'm thinking into the 7s maybe, or very close to 7s. We're just going to take off some of this backspin more and more as it gets right on that max line. Max itself has like 2 or 3 backspin already attached to it. So watch how soft this lands. It's because of natural backspin at max. So keep in mind, that's why that ball's checking up. So it's like natural backspin. You don't have to worry about that ball guide ever really going out aggressive on you on a max line shot. The more that you get with experience, the more that you'll start to realize that, and you can get a little bit more aggressive with your approaches and definitely start working on, dropping those shots. What I like to do is I like to just kind of, go through the get my clubs promoted as best as possible. Once I get established on clubs that aren't going to change, then I start really focusing on dialing in shots. Because it's a little early, premature, to really start dialing things on things like Bigfoot 6. Of course, it's fine to do, but when it changes to a 7 in, 6 or 7 chest, it can get a little tedious of a process to really dial things in. So here we are close to Spectra Max, maybe about 3 rings for max. It's going to be a good opportunity for us to just get very aggressive here. 3 rings for max, like I mentioned. We're going to take that into account, utilize this directional arrow. I went into my bag on accident. 10.8. My guess, given this scenario, pulling to lower ground might be a little bit of an over adjust, but I really don't remember how this breaks on this one. You have to factor that in as well. How is the green breaking? But since I've pulled the ground to lower ground, I'm going to under adjust this intentionally. So maybe I went 7-9 there. And let's just see if it was a good move or not. It's really going to be dictated by the way that this rolls out. I think it's going to roll out to the... Yeah, so pretty good overall. We just missed the edge of the cup. So it definitely did play out kind of similar to what we were expecting. A little bit right to left. Bounces coming in there. Nice. Very good chance for you to be able to pick up the stroke there. Oh, so it comes down to a moment of truth. We threw away a stroke that's going to... Oh, no, we're good. All we have to do is eagle here. So how about that? So we hung in there. You guys did see that one. I would have already had it. I would have had birdie locked up here. I basically missed that putt just by rushing it. So if you guys didn't see that on the front. However, here you see we're already above his tiebreaker. All we have to do is hit the 19 number. So this is a perfect example. I would go Pro D minimum. If you really want to solidify it to make sure that you get that eagle, perfect opportunity for you to pull out this rookie trophy. You'll see it's going to slow the needle down considerably. It's also going to expand that range. So that great ball tolerance, you see I hit a great ball. I don't even know if it registered great though. The increased tolerance, it's almost, I think, like 7%. It's something substantial. So with like a 7% boost in accuracy, if your timing is 7% off, you're still going to get that great ball converted to an ultimate. So how about this for rollout? So 350 off the tee. You can see we've solidified the eagle. We are going to beat the shot there. We're going to be going at this with the Bigfoot. And why not, for good measure, why don't we just go for this? I'm going to utilize a little bit of right spin to kind of straighten out this slope. Ball guide fairly aggressive to the hole. 4.1 straight in the face. See if I can just jump back in here real quick. Last time we need to get in here. Just give me 1 second. We're just going to go in this way. So just getting this in out of the way here. And we'll go to Bigfoot. We will go 7% ball. That's fine. Straight in the face. 3 for max. Something to the effect of that. Very close to your max adjustment. 2.7. Let's, of course. I don't feel like max. We're not going to worry about that. What was it? 3.7? Or was it 2.7? I think it was 2.7. 2.7. We're not going to worry about the adjustment with the ring. All I'm going to do is just pull straight up about 2.7. Very close to the max adjustment. Ultimate shot. Very weird camera angle there. Not used to seeing that. And you can see, there it is. Sure enough, double eagle. 2,200 points. A huge tiebreaker boost there. See, we're able, with the better balls, you're going to find you're going to be able to get much more aggressive. It's a lot easier for the game. That's kind of like a really good shot to end on. It would have been really cool if we needed that. If it would have actually came down to a one-stroke game. We would have actually beat them by tiebreaker. But with that double eagle, you can see how much that boosts your score up. It really gets you to an elevated status. Like I said, you know, let's just show you guys what we're in the money for. Keep in mind, our expenditure was, what, 3 Mojaves, 1 rookie trophy. And we are going to bring back in 6 and 6. So it's a net positive. So what that's going to do is allow you to have some of those balls for those tough par 5s specifically for future tournaments to come. As I mentioned, you know, I know this is kind of like just kind of like a rough playthrough. You know, I'm fully committed to, you know, helping new players develop in this game. If they need assistance with the Guide for Ultimate Golf, which is available for free in the Android and iOS, we showcased it in this tutorial here. Free to use. You know, like I mentioned, there is a win calculator in there that we used. The guide section at the top, that's where these videos are going to come. That's where all my future content is basically just going to right at the top. It's going to appear right at the top. It's going to keep you guys right on track. And if you are a new player, you know, it's very easy in this game to migrate your accounts. Feel free to scroll down to the help here, going to the YouTube button and going to my channel and directly reaching out to me, subscribing. Of course, all that new future content to come. I'll definitely do the best that I can to walk you guys through these shots, especially on these fixed win tournaments. Keep in mind, you're going to have the same setup as me. If you can get out to these same spots, play very similar, set up your spin very similar, make minor tweaks based on the way that you see me play. That's going to be the easiest way for you to increase your performance and help you get you to the next tier. So best of luck out there. You know, feel free to post in the comments. show me some love. And I appreciate you guys being there here, spending the time. So catch you guys next time. Take care.